I want to tell you a story from Genesis toward the end of the book. It's a familiar story, but it's got a great lesson for these times. It's about Joseph and his brothers. Joseph was the son of Jacob, and he had a lot of brothers, but if you know the story, you know that Joseph was actually Jacob's favorite in a lot of ways, and it created jealousy in his brothers, until finally, one day, they did something about it. They actually sold their brother off into slavery to Egypt, and then pretended with Dad that he had been slaughtered by a wild animal. Not the most engaging story so far, but it does have a powerful ending. Joseph lives in Egypt, and through some of the twists and turns that we often see in Scripture, comes to a place where he finds himself the right-hand man of the Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. And then Joseph, who's able to interpret dreams, tells Pharaoh that the season of famine is coming for several years. And with Joseph's guidance, the kingdom of Egypt prepares for the famine. They store up grain in the years of abundance so they can have it for the lean years. And if you know the story, then you know that all the world flocked to Egypt in order to eat during the years of famine, including Joseph's brothers, who now have not seen him for years and years, and they come to Egypt and they deal with the Pharaoh's right-hand man, and they treat him with great respect, not knowing that it's their brother. Now Joseph knows them. Eventually, as the story goes, Joseph reveals himself to his brothers. There's forgiveness and love found, and Joseph's father, Jacob, and his brothers and all of their flocks and families come and live in Egypt. Then, as time goes on, Jacob eventually dies, and Joseph's brothers worry that now that the old man is gone, that Joseph will take out his revenge on them. And finally, they come to Joseph and they beg one last time for his forgiveness. And Joseph, in the 50th chapter of Genesis, says something utterly remarkable in this moment. He acknowledges that what they had tried to do to him was a great evil. But then he follows that up with these words, "But from this evil, God has brought forth great good." I've thought of that story a lot in recent years, in recent days. We're living in a time when it feels like there's just a great evil afoot in the world, this coronavirus outbreak, and it might feel a little overwhelming. I'm wondering if we can believe that even in a hard moment like this, that we have a God who's capable and is bringing forth great good. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying God caused the outbreak or that God would ever want something like this to happen. But I am saying that even amidst the great evils of this world, and there is no denying that this outbreak is one such thing, that God still finds a way to bring forth good. The rebuilding of relationships, the care we're giving one another, the way parts of the world are coming together to support and encourage each other, the way we're rallying around the doctors, nurses, first responders, and all those on the front line in fighting this disease. All of this is a great good that is coming into the world. Let's pause now in prayer and give some thanks for that. Please pray with me. Holy God, thank you for the great stories of Scripture. May they be an inspiration to us in all times, but particularly in this time. And while we wrestle with the great evil of this coronavirus outbreak, help us to see in the moments and places where a great good is coming, and help us to give thanks for that. Help us to hold each other more closely metaphorically, even if we cannot do so physically, until this great trauma is past and we can rebuild your place in our midst, in and through Jesus Christ. Amen.